Yo guys, what's going on? And in today's video, I'm gonna be reviewing the best and worst mice of 2020 and 2021. Let's get started. So I kind of had to trim the webcam, as you can see, right there. So you guys can see the beautiful, oh wait, that's the wrong finger. That beautiful dog shit and D category. So hope you guys enjoy. And right off the bat, let's start. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go random for this. I don't know. Let's try the G203. So I think this mouse is pretty good. It's definitely not bad, and especially for the price, it's like really good. I'd put it in a B tier. Just because of the shape, it's a really nice and safe shape. The RGB, I mean, it's there if you want to use it. And the buttons overall are pretty good. Next up is the Booga mouse. That's really base. No, I'm just joking. It'll go in the dog shit category. Shit weighs like, I don't even know, like 150 grams or something. Like the entire plate on the bottom is like made out of aluminum, which is really weird, but yeah, that's my opinion for it. Next up is the G307. So if they would update this mouse, I would put it in an A tier, but just because the sensor kind of feels laggy and it has double click issues, I'm gonna put it in B. Next up is the Skull, not the Haiti, but the Skull. And Jewels kind of doesn't really make the best products. Like, I don't know, I would kind of put it in B tier, but the size is just really, really big, and it kind of doesn't really fit my hand. They basically stole the Air 58 shape and just made it into an ergonomic mouse, so I'll put it in C. It also has some sensor issues from what I've heard. Next up is all the glorious mice. Personally, I know there's a lot of haters and a lot of people that like it, especially for Minecraft because you can double click with it. But personally, their quality isn't that good. I've tried the Model D and the Model O wireless, and they're both not that great. Especially for the price, you can get yourself like an XM1R or something like that. So these are gonna go in the C tier. Next up is this bad boy, the Viper 8K. Personally, when I was using it, I didn't really see a difference in the 8K compared to like 500K, or not 500K, 500G, I don't know what it's called, bro. It's 8 kilohertz, and then there's something down below. The Model O, I'm pretty sure, and like all the other like final mice and stuff, I'm pretty sure they have a 500 polling rate. So this, I don't know, maybe there was like a small difference, but it was really negligible. So I think I'd put it in a B tier, but the shape is really good. I really did like it, but it's kind of overpriced at like $80 to $90 on Amazon for literally a Viper Mini. Next up is this bad boy, the big brother of the Viper, is the Viper Ultimate. I've used it. Charging stand isn't like crazy as everyone says it is. Yeah, it's pretty nice, but like I don't think that should be a feature per se of the mouse. Like they say, oh, we got a cool charging stand, but like what I really care about is the mouse, and that thing has two side buttons on the other side. So like there would be a normal amount of side buttons, which is two here, and then over here they have another set of mouse buttons. And I personally don't like it. I kept accidentally clicking them, and the shape is pretty good, but I just prefer the Viper Mini because it just doesn't have those side buttons and it's a lot lighter. So that's going in the C tier. Next up, the G Pro X Super Light. Based, literally the safest shape on the planet, and it's pretty light. Logitech literally took everything from the G Pro and just made it 100 times better. Logitech literally killed it with this one. Thumbs up. Next up is the Skull Mini. I don't really know how I feel about this mouse. Personally, I've never used it. From reviews, though, I've seen that it's literally just a skull, just downgraded. So I'm just gonna put in a C tier because it's pretty much the same thing. It's just a little bit lighter and smaller. Next up, the Aerox 3 wireless. Personally, I kind of like this mouse, honestly, for the shape, but it was just really laggy for me, and it would not want to connect to the SteelSeries software. So that's going to go in a D tier, and also the clicks are not that good. Next up is the MM720. Personally, I feel like I'm saying personally too much, but anyways, I honestly think this mouse is really comfortable. If you're gonna like just use it in the office, I'd recommend it. But for gaming, it's like pretty ergonomic, but I didn't really like it. I kept on missing all of my flick shots and stuff. It's just a really wide mouse. Next up, by Cooler Master as well, the MM711. So this mouse was a lot better, but I still saw some QC issues. And the cable is pretty good, honestly, but they could have just taken out the RGB and made it lighter. And overall, this mouse isn't that good. Unless you can get it for sale for like 20 or 30 bucks, then I'd recommend it. Next up, this is the inferior brother to the G Pro X Superlight. This is the G Pro Wireless. I've had this mouse for a while, but as I said, it's just irrelevant. Like, the G Pro X exists, why in the world would you get the G Pro Wireless if the G Pro X exists? I don't get it. Next up is the Naga by Razer. So, I haven't tried this mouse, as I'm sure most of you have not tried it as well. It's just a really weird mouse. But I have felt it at Best Buy and stuff. And honestly, it's just way too heavy, and those buttons get really annoying. Next up is the bloody A70. For all you Minecraft players out there, no, this is not the best mouse in the world. Just because it can drag click, it doesn't mean that it's like the best mouse ever. The sensor is alright, but the weight isn't really that good, and so is the cable. If you would like paracord it and like fix some QC issues, I think it would be a pretty good mouse, but it just kind of looks like one of those cheap Amazon mice you would buy for like 30 bucks, so I'll give it, not a D because all the Minecraft players are going to hate me. I'll put it at a C. Next up, probably one of the best mice, one of three best mice definitely, is the XM1R. XM1R, perfect shape, absolute beautiful design. The finish is pretty nice, and yeah, the cable is like literally the best cable I've ever tried on a mouse. Next up, the G-Wolves Hottie S. I heard that the Hottie S wireless is coming out, but this mouse is kind of small, and it doesn't really fit my style of like grabbing the mouse. I have like a claw slash fingertip grip. It really depends what I'm feeling, but I did not really like this mouse. The shape was pretty alright, I guess. The buttons were absolute dog shit, and the cable was alright, so I guess I'll put in like a C tier. Next up, the M800, literally a Viper Ultimate, or Viper Mini with the Ultimate, basically. It's if the Ultimate and the Mini had a baby. It's small like the Mini. It literally is basically a clone with a different logo on it, and it's wireless, so I'll give it a B tier. I think it's pretty good, honestly. Next up, for all my Roccat fanboys, the Cone Pro Ultra. For ergonomics, I'd say this mouse is really good. The side buttons are nice and big, so you can press them if you're playing any, like, game that uses side buttons, like Fortnite and stuff. But, personally, I don't think it was the best mouse ever. I'd give it, like, an A tier. I think it was pretty good. Next up, the failed project of the Atom Palm. Not really failed, because they didn't really tell us anything yet, but I'm still waiting till the day it comes out. If it would come out and I'll review it, I'm expecting it to be like an A or really based, but honestly, I'll give it a dog shit because they literally sent a copy to Linus and no one else ever got it. Next up, this isn't really a mouse, but more of a company that does like mods to mice. Piranha Mods, literally A tier, bro. They have some like issues, I guess. It's not the best company ever, but I'd say it's among the top three, so I'd give it an A. If they just respond a lot quicker, I'd put it on beast. Next up, the Basilisk. This bad boy, my brother owns one. I've tried it. It's pretty comfortable, and you can like adjust the tension on the scroll wheel, which is pretty cool. But honestly, I don't think it's worth like paying 70 plus bucks for it. It's literally just an inferior G502. Not saying that the G502 is good, because it's certainly not, but it's alright, I guess. I'll give it like a D tier. Next up, the Pulsefire Haste. I used to love this mouse, but after like a few weeks or months, it just kind of not really worked anymore as it used to. It had QC issues, it had a lot of problems, and I'm sure a lot of you guys experienced it as well. So it's gonna go in the C tier. The shape was pretty spot on. I really liked it. It was pretty light, and the cable was really good. But after like a few weeks, the quality just deteriorated, and I didn't really like it anymore. Next up, the G303. If they make a wireless version, that shit's going on base, because I really did like this mouse back in the day. But it's just kind of inferior. It doesn't have a good sensor anymore for today's standards, and the switches are kind of meh. And of course, the cable is really bad, because most Logitech mice do have really bad cables. I'd put it on like a D tier. I don't really like it. Next up, the Cape Town. This bad boy, I have not used it, but is basically what I'm assuming is a shrunk down version of the Air 58. So just for that, I'm gonna give it an A tier. I haven't tried it, but from what I've heard, cable's great, shape's great. It's pretty small, kind of like a Viper Mini, just completely different size and shape to the Viper Mini. It's a little bit smaller than the Viper Mini, but personally, I think it's pretty good. It just the looks. Tan body with like the orange scroll wheel and the cable is just not really my style, and I've seen a lot of people mod it, but personally, I don't think the color was the way to go for that mouse. Speaking of legendary-based mice, this thing, the Starlag Final Meme 12. This is probably one of the most controversial mice on this list, just solely because it's Final Mouse and they don't release a lot of copies. But personally, I think they did it really well compared to like a Air 58 release where like everyone was fucking crashing the site and stuff. Here, they didn't really crash from what I saw. It's just I didn't get it. I wasn't quick enough. But they should add some bot protection. But other than that, magnesium mouse, light as fuck, wireless, what else do you want? Next up, I don't know what this is, so I'll just call it a random office mouse. Base tier, if you're using it, you're definitely underrated, so yeah, props to you for using one. You should really upgrade to something else. Nah, I'm just joking, but if you guys do have the money, I would recommend going for either a Viper Mini or something like an M800 or something like that. Or maybe even a G203. It's still a pretty good mouse, even though it's quite old. Next up, the Hello Kitty mouse. I've seen boardzy review it, but dog shit. I don't know what to say about it. It's just a Hello Kitty mouse. Like, what else could I say? Next up, the Prime Wireless. If you guys are big fans of me, you would have seen the two videos I made about this mouse. One was saying that it's amazing, and the 1 month later video said it was absolutely dog shit. I hate it now, and it's still in that box somewhere over there. But yeah, I do not like that mouse anymore. The kind of ergonomics are pretty good. The cable's alright, but the switches themselves are like really bad, and so are the feet, even though they're PTFE. Next up, the mouse with a fan in it. Again, I saw boardzy review it. That's the only experience I have. It has a fan in it. If you're crazy sweaty, then yeah, this might be the god mouse for you, but I don't know, bro. Personally, I think the fan is just extra weight, so it's the RGB, and it's just like a Chinese cheap mouse, so I don't really know what to expect of it. Next up, the Saber Pro 8K. Literally, they just tried to do what the Viper did, but with like a weirder shape. I tried this mouse out. I didn't make a video on it because I just did not like it. I literally returned it to the store the next day I bought it. I hated it. Corsair just does not make good mice. And they used to be pretty good with keyboards, but not anymore. So I don't really know what they're making money from. Probably the TikTok RGB fans. Next up, the legendary mouse. We need a new tier for this. Literally best mouse I've ever used. Even better than the G Pro X. Like, I don't know what to say, dude. The shape is perfect. It's large for my medium/large hands. And it just fits in my hands pretty well. Cable is amazing. I don't know why people are saying it's so bad, because I really do like the cable. It's pretty good. And overall, the like scroll wheel is amazing. I know I've heard some people say that they broke it, but I don't know, bro, because I've had this mouse for 3+ years now and nothing has ever broken on me. Clicks are still super crispy and good. And if you slap on a pair of Hyperglides, then you'll be rolling. Next up, all the Zowie mice. Except for this one. Oh wait, no, that's not that one. It's this one. We'll leave that one for last. All the Zowie mice. Excellent shapes, bad texture, awful cables, decent feet, B tier for all of them except for the EC3. Now, for the EC3. The EC3, have not reviewed it, but from what I've heard, great coding. They literally just improved everything that was wrong with the EC and just made it better on the EC3. Better coding, better cable, better feet, better sensor. Literally everything that was bad about the EC, they made it better on the EC3. Good job, Zowie. Next up, the legendary G305. Honestly, I think it's a great mouse, especially for the price. It uses a AA battery, which is pretty good. It lasts for about like half a year, which is crazy. Shape's pretty good. It's like an egg, so I don't know. If you guys don't like egg shapes, I don't recommend getting it, but I do think it is a pretty good mouse. Next up, the G502, the worst mouse in history. Everyone used to rave about it, how good it was, until the light mouse craze came up. This mouse is like 100 something grams. It's super heavy. There's like weights on it for no reason, and there's so many buttons on it. It's just not good. And so is the Lightspeed variant. Next up, a Viper Mini. Honestly, I'd give it an A. It's just a really great overall mouse, great shape, decent cable, excellent feet, and just overall a really good design by Razer. Next up, Model O Wireless. I reviewed this one. I don't like it at all. It has really bad creaking, QC issues, all of that. Bad cable, even though they say it's like paracorded, but it's really not. And the sensor is alright, I guess, and the feet are just really bad and scratchy. Next up, Razer's, I think, latest release, the Orochi V2. I'd give it an A. It's a beautiful mouse, $70. It's literally a G305, but a lot newer and a lot cleaner design, a lot better shape. It's literally everything the G305 had, but the Orochi did better. So honestly, I'm gonna put the G305 in B because this mouse is just much more superior. Next up, the Death Adder V2, the Pro variant. Honestly, if you're like a beginning gamer, I don't mind, but if you're using it for anything else than like playing like League of Legends or something, I don't know what you're doing, bro. The sensor's absolutely awful. The shape is like made for 9-year-old hands, but like extremely large, and I don't know anyone else except for like some 9-year-olds who use it. Next up, I feel like I've said next up like over 100 times. MSI's mouse. is pretty bad. Honestly, I don't really like it. It's wireless, I guess, so like that's a plus, but it's not really good. If you're gonna get a wireless mouse, get a GPX. Next up, Cone Air Pro. Decent mouse, meh buttons, and meh everything else. Good shape though. Next up, Model O minus. Literally just a Model O, but lighter, so I don't know. I'd put it in like a C tier, I guess, but honestly, I don't really know, bro. It's just a smaller Model O, and I don't really like it. Next up, carbon fiber mouse. The shit's extremely expensive. It's like $450, but it is carbon fiber, and there's the Mark II variant. I don't know, I've seen a lot of people review it. I've heard that it's really good, but there's no side buttons on it or anything like that, so I just put it in a D tier. If they would make it like 80 or like $100, maybe even like 150, I would put it up there, but I don't know, bro. I feel like 450 is just way too much for a mouse. Like, even the Starlight 12 costs like 300, 400, but that stuff has a beautiful shape. This is literally just a mouse cut in half with carbon fiber. Honestly, I don't see the appeal of it, really. Next up, another Roccat mouse, the Burst Plus Pro. I feel like their naming scheme is getting worse and worse throughout the video. I'd give it a C, honestly. It's a pretty decent mouse. And if you guys are Minecraft players, I heard it can do some nifty clicking stuff, so I would recommend it for like Minecraft players. Okay, guys, that's pretty much it. I have no clue what these mice are. I've seen boardzy review this one, but I completely forgot everything about it. And all the other mice, I don't really know what they are and what they do. Therefore, I'm not gonna put them on the tier list because I just don't see a point. If I haven't reviewed them, I don't know what they are. I don't know what anything is like, so I don't want to mistake any of the shapes or cables for being bad if they actually are good. Okay, guys, that's it, and thank you guys for sticking around. This video was quite long. It's over 20 minutes, but I hope you guys did enjoy the first mouse tier list or any tier list video that I've made, and hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I had a lot of fun making it, and hopefully we can make some more. So leave a like if you guys enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe down below, and check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/FLHRE. I stream almost every other day except for this week because energy was just really low. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all.